All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. I've got a few minutes here for Q&A at the very end as we progress and go through the demonstration of both systems. Feel free to chat to write in the chat box any questions that you have. I'll do my best to answer them as we progress, but otherwise we'll hold off to the Q&A at the very end. And with that said, let's go ahead and get things moving here. First things first, agenda for today, a brief point or two about Fay Business Systems, SugarCRM's #1 global sugar partner. A few comparison basics between the two, where we're going to briefly go over different deployment types, the types of support you get with both systems, the programming languages that they're written in, etc. Then we're going to get into a live demo, a side-by-side comparison of a day in the life of a sales rep, including lead to cash, account roll-up, some task management, and a brief comparison of dashboards as well. Then we'll take a quick look at pricing and some total cost of ownership examples, and then we'll dig into the Q&A. So with that, briefly, some background on Fay Business Systems. We've been around for more than 25 years. We have more than 500 clients, most of whom are SugarCRM clients. We also have a sizable ERP part of the business, and we have about 150 ERP customers as well. Like I said, we are the #1 global SugarCRM partner in 2015 Sugar Global Partner of the Year. We're partners with QuickBase, which is a very cool solution, NetSuite, Sage, and Acton as well. For in-house programming, all of our developers are in our headquarters in Los Angeles, California. We don't outsource anything at Fay Business Systems. Our office is headquartered in LA. We're also in Atlanta and Philadelphia, and I am in beautiful Austin, Texas. Our focus, as alluded to earlier, is on CRM accounting and ERP and marketing automation. We've deployed thousands of successful ERP and CRM systems, and we have a large collection of off-the-shelf integrations for several of those: ERP, marketing automation, and cloud storage. A lot of those off-the-shelf integrations that we have include everything from NetSuite and Intact, Authorize.net, Aloe Vera, Jira, Sage, Constant Contact, Dropbox, or Box. All of these integrations, you can learn more about each of these integrations on our website at faybsg.com. All of them are available off the shelf, and you can also download the information and brochures for each one. And that in the middle is our CASH, our Customer Access Support Hub, which is a custom portal that we layer on top of Sugar that can be constructed for 1,000,001 different use cases. You can also learn more about our custom portal on our website. With that said, let's get into Sugar versus Salesforce. So deployment options. Both Sugar and Salesforce out of the box are going to be in an on-demand environment, which is a multi-tenant environment in which you share resources with other customers that are on the same server. Sugar allows for a few additional deployment options on-premises and third-party. A lot of advantages to being able to deploy CRM on-premise or with a third-party like Fay Business Systems, and we currently host a few dozen of our Sugar customers. First of that is virtual private server technology. When you're hosting on-premises or with a third party, you have dedicated resources. It's also, a little bit less expensive to customize the system when you are on premises, because there's no additional time being spent on getting access to things like log files or building module loadable packages, things like that. You can also take snapshots when you're hosted in your own environment. A big advantage to that is you can back up your system as often as you want to. You can back up offsite. Sorry about that. It's also you're also going to have increased speeds when you have dedicated resources. You can also ramp up the amount of storage that you have more easily when you're hosted on premises, on site, or with a third party. Support's going to be the same for both Salesforce and Sugar. When you have with phone, email, and portal options within them, they're a little bit different. With SugarCRM, most of that support is included. With Salesforce, you're looking at a 15% surcharge on the total license cost for additional support. Customization, the SugarCRM allows you to extend the functionality of the CRM by providing you direct access to the source code, which is a very powerful feature that allows you to customize and configure Sugar to whatever your business needs are. Salesforce, you can also extend the functionality. It's done a little bit different through force.com, where you can integrate several applications, or you can custom build applications through force.com. The programming languages for each system are different. For Salesforce.com, you have Apex, which is a proprietary language developed by Salesforce. SugarCRM is largely PHP, which is one of the most common languages in the world. For limitations, the type of limitations we are referring to here are API calls, everything from API calls, the frequency with which you make them, how often you're making API calls, custom objects, custom fields. At Salesforce, there are a lot of limitations on what you can do there. With SugarCRM, there are no such limitations. Next for price, and we're going to dig into price a little bit later on after we go through the demo, the side-by-side comp, is price. There's a big price difference between the two, but we'll hold off there for just a bit. Demo items. The first thing we're going to take a look at for both systems is dashboards. We'll take a look at Sugar dashboards, a few different types, and then we'll take a look at the home dashboard inside of Salesforce as well. Same thing for a lead. We'll take a look at a lead record and then convert that lead and take a look at accounts. And with that having been said, guys, let's go right into the demo, and I will switch right to the SugarCRM dashboard. In SugarCRM, a dashboard is a group of dashlets. A dashlet is a chart or list that's going to pull data from a different module or report. When you're constructing a dashboard inside of Sugar, what you want to do first is determine the information that is the highest priority to you. What information do I access every day? What modules do I access and do I click on the most? Here we're logged in as Jim. Jim's a sales manager, so some of the things that Jim's going to want to take a look at and he's going to prioritize are his pipelines, his sales team's pipelines, a few top sales. Within each of these dashlets, you're able to toggle, so Jim can toggle between his own records or his team's records. He can scroll through different time periods, so if I wanted to scroll down to another quarter, you'll see the numbers change. You can scroll over any one of these numbers and dig down a little bit deeper, and if I wanted to go to those specific opportunities, it would take me to the report. Oh, excuse me. While we stay here, also top 10 sales, if I scroll over any of these sales, it'll give me additional information, who created it, when it's expected to close, the probability, and the count associated. Scrolling down here, I've got a list view. So this is going to give me a list of the two modules that I'm accessing most, which as either a sales manager or a sales rep would be opportunities and leads. I can sort inside these list views. It allows you to sort. I can sort by date created, the name. I can scroll through and look at more opportunities. If I wanted to edit what's available to me, I can add columns here. Go back and click save. You'll see that it reloads, and now I can sort by type. Same thing for leads. These are all the leads that these leads are assigned to me, so I have quick access to any of them without having to click into the leads module. Up here, pipeline by team, by user, another dashboard that's out of the box. All of your dashboards are really editable as well, so all I need to do to edit a dashboard, scroll down, click add a row or add a column, and right here you'll see that I've got 3 columns. I can have 2 or everything in a single column depending on what's most convenient for me. But here we'll add a forecast bar chart. Do I want to choose my forecast or my team's forecast? We'll stick with my team's forecast. Scroll down, you'll give it just a moment for the information to load. And now I can look at my team. Now I can take a look at my team's forecast. Click save. And that's as easy as that to edit a dashboard. I can also drag and drop and move things around if I want to. And any user inside of Sugar can have several dashboards. So while this is my dashboard, I can also take a look at my activities dashboard, which is going to show me a quick view of everything that I've got going on, my upcoming calls, my tasks, and also my team's tasks and activities. And I can scroll through each of those and get a better idea. And here, down here, I can look at my calls and meetings across my sales teams. Let's go back to my dashboard. You can also link to an activity stream inside of your dashboard here. The activity stream inside of Sugar, in its inching towards more of a social CRM. The activity stream is a really cool collaborative tool that that's going to allow you to keep track of any changes that you made to any of the records that that you create or are following. You can also, with this chat box here, you can also mention another user to give them for this record to appear in their activity stream. So if I wanted to have Will take a look at this new lead journey, I would just say take a look at that. Now that's going to appear in his activity stream. When you have your CRM system, when Sugar is integrated with another software system and you want to design a dashboard around information coming into the system, here's an example of how a QuickBooks dashboard would look inside of Sugar. So if you have Sugar CRM integrated with QuickBooks or any other accounting or ERP, you can then custom design a dashboard that's going to include information that's coming over from the third party. All very customizable. Here you can see I can change from this dashboard to what it may look like for a sales rep when you have the integration here, and he can take a look at all of the numbers that apply specifically to him. So with that said, guys, I'm going to make a brief stop here, give you a chance to type in any questions in the chat box before I head over to the homepage inside of Salesforce. Okay, so here we are at the homepage inside of Salesforce. This is Salesforce's new UI. It is called Salesforce Lightning. A little bit different from Sugar. When I scroll through here, let me reload this page if it's not taking me to the top. On the right-hand side is Salesforce's new assistant for CRM Lightning. The assistant's going to show you a quick overview of recently created and accessed leads. It's going to tell you anything that is overdue or give you reminders for things that you are working on. For example, here's a new lead that was assigned to me today, John Mackey. If I scroll over John Mackey's name, I get a little bit of additional information. Very cool feature that pop up that they added to the new UI here inside of Salesforce. Sugar has something very similar, a little bit more robust, but it's good to see that Salesforce has incorporated the feature into the new Lightning. If I click on the arrow, it'll give me a few additional options, like for here, because this is an individual record, I can email them from here. For any opportunities, if I click the arrow, it'll give me a few additional opportunity numbers or opportunity details, or I can just scroll over and get the same amount and see things like who the opportunity has been assigned to, the expected close date, and the account name. I can also dismiss the recommendation, and as I go through these, I can also click on and add a new event for those particular opportunity. Scrolling down, news items, while it's blank here, the news items here would populate with any news related to any of the accounts that are inside the system, and I'd be pulling it from Google. It gives you a rundown of today's tasks if I had any assigned for today, same thing for upcoming events. And down here, it's going to give me access to recent records. Here's John Mackey, Whole Foods Market, which is an account I created. If I scroll over it, it'll give me a brief business card, access to some pertinent details like phone numbers, address, website, and who's got the account. Other top deals, largest opportunities that I have in the pipeline. Where Sugar's is a little bit more robust, the homepage inside of Salesforce is more of an assistant in your daily activities, and that's really where the focus is and kind of ends there. Before we bounce back over to Sugar CRM, and the leads module, I'm going to take a quick hard pause here and let you type any questions in the chat box before we head back.
Nothing, David.
Sure. So there's a few different ways to view records inside of both CRMs, and the two most obvious being a list view of records inside the CRM, and then the record or detail view. Here, looking at the list view of the leads module up here at the top, I've got a list of all of the leads that are inside the system. Here on the right-hand side in the intelligence pane is a dashboard, and this intelligence pane is throughout the entire CRM inside of Sugar. It's always going to show you information that is most pertinent to the page you're looking at. So here on the right-hand side, I can take a look at quickly at leads by status, by rep, leads by lead source, and I can also edit this to add additional dashlets. So, for example, if I wanted to have a list view of my biggest accounts, or if I wanted any of my reports to appear here in the sidecar, I can have that here on the intelligence pane. Closing that for just a moment and focusing on what you can do when you're looking at your list of leads. First thing I can do is it's showing me a list of everybody's leads inside the system, every lead that's been created. If I wanted to filter to just my leads, I would click that filter button there at the left, click my leads, and it'll show that I have 20. I can also create your own filter. So if I wanted to create a filter, I can look by lead source is any of, so in this case, let's go to self-generated leads. It's going to automatically populate. I don't have to do anything else. And if I want to leave it there, I can. And I can enter the new filter name and save it, or I can add another filter. So let's say I want to filter and refine further. Date created is before, well, let's go back to after. No, let's go clear that one. So if there are no records, it'll show up there. You can get rid of the filter and go back to where you can go back to delete that filter option and go back to where you had started. For each of these records, there's a preview pane. So when you saw me inside of Salesforce hover over a record, it showed me a few items. But inside of Sugar, you can do a lot more with the preview pane, and you can look at a lot more information without having to leave the page that you're on. So here, when I click the preview button, it's going to show me a lot of information that is inside the record. So it'll show me, in addition to what I've got here, it's going to show me title, phone numbers, which I can either quick call from here. I can visit the website from here if I want to. I can show more, so this is completely configurable. Any information I want to see here is going to be there when I click the preview button. Here it's going to show me all of the information from the record without having to click on it. I can follow this record from here, so I can keep track of any changes that are taking place during the record in my activity stream. I can delete it, or I can convert this lead from here, all done without ever having to leave the page I'm on. You can also mass update from the list view inside of Sugar. So if I wanted to mass update all these records, I would click the checkbox here at the top, which is going to cover everything. I can mass update from there. And if I wanted to mass update, for example, who this is going to be assigned to, I can assign all of these records to Will. Click update, and then all the records would be assigned to him, and he'd get an email notifying him of the changes in record ownership for all of those. You can also sort between my favorite leads, recently created leads, and recently viewed leads right out of the box. Recently viewed, you can favorite them from here, and again, with anything that you favorite, those changes are going to appear in your activity stream, or you can access them quickly by clicking the down arrow next to any module, and you'll see your favorites here at the bottom, which will give you quick access to any of them. That said, guys, hard stop before going over the leads module inside of Salesforce, and then we're going to take a look at leads. Here inside of Salesforce, very similar. If out here at the very top, I can switch between all of my, if I want to look at different my leads, leads that were entered today, recently viewed leads, similar to what I was doing inside of Sugar. If I click over, going here on the right-hand side of my filters, similar to inside of Sugar, here I can show them all of my leads, or all leads. We'll show all of them. Here's some additional qualifiers and operators that you can refine by further. And if you wanted to add any additional filters, you can do that here. Also here, the only chart that's included here are leads by lead source. It's not quite as configurable as it is in Sugar, but they do offer a similar feature where you can get overview of the entire leads module on the in a chart or a graph here on in the intelligence pane or on the side of the screen. You can also edit records from here. Inline editing, same thing as inside of Sugar. Oops. You can change the view, so if you want, you can display all of your leads here inside of Salesforce in a table. You can switch it to a Kanban, which doesn't make as much sense when you're looking at a leads module. Some of the other things that you can do here, you can edit your list filters, and not quite as quickly as we were doing inside of Sugar, but you can select fields to display. You can delete records from here. Same thing with the arrow here. I can either edit or delete these records. I can't convert them like I can inside of Sugar, but I can edit or delete them from here. We'll go to recently viewed leads, and it should take me to John Mackey, and we will take a look at leads records next. So let's start off inside of Sugar. Taking a look at a lead record in Sugar, a lot of things to take in, but the first things first is you're looking at a business card view of a lead record. So first, I'm going to see his title, a mobile phone number, an office phone number. Keep in mind here, this business card view, everything I'm looking at is been determined by me. It's completely configurable. You can add and remove as many fields as you want. You can create your own fields in different types, whether it's a drop-down or a text area or a checkbox. Whatever is most important to you, however you're capturing information and what your business processes are. Also, a description of the account if I wanted to add one, a description for the lead. So this is a lead that at a conference. So the inline editing, I don't have to leave the record, just click in and click save. Status is new. I can assign that record to somebody else. I can change the process. I can change the status to in process, or I can kill the lead, or I can have it recycled. Again, what's going to appear in a drop-down is going to be determined by you, but these are the out-of-the-box statuses that are included. Up here on Show More, it shows some more information. You don't want to clog your screen, so it's removed to the side in a separate tab, but things like primary address, if there was an alternate address, or if you want to keep tabs of things like a Twitter account or a LinkedIn profile, you can also add those here. But I can also see that the account is assigned, who it's assigned to when I click on this tab. It's been a slips. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go back to John Mackey. Scrolling down, you got quick access to all of your subpanels. Each one of these subpanels calls, meetings, tasks. So here at the top, I can see there have been 3 calls. The green is going to indicate held, scheduled. It means that it's going to take place in the future. Anything that is, any tasks or anything that's done, that's passed due or held is going to appear here in red. Alluded to earlier, the sidecar that's going to be throughout Sugar and every single record inside Sugar, and here's where I think it's really powerful tool. So here, let me reload this page and make sure that the information appears like it's supposed to here on the right-hand side. So when I click down on the intelligence pane of the lead record, first thing it's going to show me is where I am in the customer journey. We'll come back to that here in just a second. But scrolling down here on the right-hand side, without having to scroll through the record and look for calls, I can go ahead and get a quick snapshot of any activities and history associated with this record. So quickly, I can see in the last 7 days, I've had 1 meeting, 2 calls with John Mackey. Scrolling down, I can see that I've got 1 upcoming meeting and 1 upcoming call. I can also switch between my activities and my team's activities for each one of these dashlets. And you can also edit. You can also edit and configure the intelligence pane from here as well. So let's take a look here at the customer journey really quickly. I think it's one of the coolest things that Sugar has on offer. You know, these days customer journey mappings are pretty popular. Excuse me. Is a pretty popular exercise for a lot of companies these days. Why did I just switch out? I just switched. Excuse me. It's a pretty popular activity these days, and Sugar's incorporated a really cool solution inside the CRM. With the Sugar customer journey solution, it's going to allow companies to define customer journeys that are specific to their business. In this case, the example is a new lead journey from the website, but these journeys can do anything. They can span the entirety of a customer life cycle, or they can focus on a particular segment of the relationship. And they can be a short-lived engagement, or they can represent a longer duration or even a long cyclical life cycle. They can be industry specific, or they can be generic. And throughout Sugar, it can be applied to any object, contacts, leads, accounts, even custom modules. Customer journeys can be added to anything. Each one of these customer journeys is going to have a list of items, checklists, things that are going to move you along in the customer journey. And on the right-hand side, it's going to keep track of where I am there. So with this, when I click here, I can preview the next step in the customer journey, which here is qualification. I can edit it, or I can go ahead and start it. Things that are completed are in green. So here, if I check this off, you'll see that here on the right-hand side, that customer journey is going to increase from 25 to 37% as I've just progressed 12% further in this type of customer journey. You can also assign tasks. Excuse me. You can also assign tasks to each one of these steps. So before any step is completed, you can assign a certain task. It's all dependent on your processes and the kind of and what your customer journey looks like. And it can be anything, like I said earlier, to lead nurturing, to project management, to case support. The possibilities really are endless, and it's a very cool feature that they have here. Going back down here to the preview pane, which is in so many records inside of Sugar. If I click preview, I can take a look at a lot of call details without having to look at the call itself. Here I can see a description quickly. A meeting will be between our dev team and their IT leadership. Go to meetings, invite sent. I can learn everything about this record without ever having to leave the screen I'm on. And anything else I wanted to see here, showing more when it was created and when modified. Scroll out of here. You can also, any tasks here, you can also look at tasks and complete tasks from here. Here I can clicking on the preview, I can see where this task lies in the customer journey order and how many points. And this is, again, an out-of-the-box customer journey. So all of these would be calculated differently for your company and for your customer journey if you were using them. You can also scroll down further. Any emails that I sent to John would appear here. Anything that he sends back to me would also come in here, as would any of the attachments included in those emails. Any notes that I wanted to add would be added here as well. And I can follow the lead up here, or I can start like I was able to other records, and I can also convert this lead. Before converting this lead, I'll make a hard pause. Before converting, we're going to go over and take a look at his lead record inside of Salesforce. Unless, Jesse, any questions, we'll keep going.
Good to go.
Cool. So here's a lead record. They're very similar inside of Salesforce. We're going to see here is a progress bar, very similar to what you see in a Microsoft Dynamics and a basic version of the customer journey inside of Sugar. So below your business card view here at the top, you've got your guideline here for working and for getting a lead from all the way from unqualified to converted, which we're going to do here in just a moment. Taking a look at the rest of the screen. Scrolling down here, I can see past activity that's been created. I can log a call from here quickly. This is a call that was held. Click save, and you'll see that it appears in my activity below there. I can also upload any files related to the record from here. I can convert the lead. I can send a lead in an email. My email has been configured. I can follow the lead from here as well, which is very similar to the activity stream inside of Sugar here, where if I was on anywhere throughout the system inside of Salesforce, I can be apprised of any updates that are made to this record if I'm following it. Here are a few additional details for the lead record: status, name, who it's assigned to, company. You can also add phone numbers, numbers of employees, which I think for Salesforce, for Whole Foods is almost 100,000, although that's going to increase here, I suppose. Address information you can add here, who's created it. Google Maps will, if you add, very similar to Sugar, if you add an address here, it'll appear on a Google map and you can map directions from where you are over to where they are. Let's go ahead, and you can also in here click here on news. So anything that's related to news, it would pull here. It's not pulling anything because the news in the demo for Salesforce is not being configured, but I'd also be able to keep track of their Twitter account as well. We go back here. So going through the progress chart for a sales lead inside of Salesforce, each one of these sections or these areas is going to have a different criteria for moving them along. But the last thing to do would be to convert the lead. When converting a lead inside of Salesforce, converted status is qualified. The record owner is not going to change. The account name is going to be picked up from the lead record. It's going to be Whole Foods Market, and I can create an opportunity from here if I want. So let's just do 100 widgets. It won't let me do anything else with the opportunity. It's going to stop there. Inside Sugar, when we convert the lead, I'll show you how you've got a few more options when you are converting a lead when creating an opportunity. So we'll go ahead and convert the lead, but before we take a look at the accounts record, let's go back and convert John Mackey inside of Sugar. So very similarly, I can just click this arrow and press convert, or I can press convert up here at the top. First thing it's going to look for are duplicates. I'm creating a new contact. It does not see any duplicates there. For accounts, there is a Whole Foods Market account, so I am going to click select the account instead of creating a new one. And I can associate John with this opportunity, or I can ignore it and create a new opportunity, which is what I'm going to do. So here inside of Sugar, let's talk about this 100 widgets opportunity with a lot more options here. Just for sake of the demo, let's go ahead and put in some numbers here. So we'll go 10, 50, and 100 for worst, best, better. Sales stage, probably still prospecting. If I'm converting here, it's probably in qualification. Next step, I can define that here, or I can leave it blank, whether or not I want to include it in this upcoming forecast. I can select the type. Is this existing business or new business, and which campaign did they come from? It automatically populated in this instance because when I created the lead record, he came from the spring trade show campaign, so that's going to be there automatically. I can assign this opportunity to somebody else if I wanted to, but I'm going to keep it to me, and it's going to be automatically assigned to me. Quick description of the opportunity. Scrolling down, I can show less information here. Click create opportunity, save and convert. And it's going to give me the same three options I just showed you inside of Salesforce. It's going to take me to the opportunity, the account, or the contact record. So here I've got now a new contact and opportunity. Before I click on accounts, Jesse, just make sure we are good where we are right now. We seem to be making pretty good time. If there are no questions, I'll just keep on moving along.
Good to go.
Cool. So let's take a look at an account record inside of Sugar, starting here. So as we'd shown earlier, there on the right-hand side, the intelligence pane, I've got a dashboard that's going to show me a quick glance at things like opportunity metrics and history associated with the account. So as soon as I click on the account, I can see we've got two open opportunities for a combined $110,000. That includes the one that I just added. There have been two cases assigned, so that have been opened and assigned to this particular account. And I can take a look at those records if I wanted to, or I can favorite them from here for additional detail. And for history, no meetings or emails because it hasn't brought over from the lead record. Let me refresh this page, and you'll see that on the right-hand side. will now populate with the additional information. I'm going to close that for just a moment and come back to the side pane here in just a moment. But when you're similar to a lead record and account record inside of Sugar, you're going to see a business card view. Very first thing, what industry is the account, the type here. There's still a prospect because we haven't closed any business with them yet. If they did, I would be able to change them from a prospect to a customer. Member of, this inside Sugar, member of is referring to parent accounts. So if I had, while Whole Foods would be the parent account, if I created a second, I can create a Whole Foods store number 1, their flagship here in Austin, and that would be a member, that would be an account that would roll up to the parent account, which would be Whole Foods Market. Below I can see all the accounts, all the calls, meetings, tasks associated with the account, the opportunities that are associated as well. This is the one that we just created. Here is the one that was already associated with the opportunity, excuse me, with the account. Leads, here's John Mackey. John's been converted. See that this is all the information that we had brought over from that lead record. So all of this information will appear here. Without clicking back into that lead, I can see its description, and that's going to carry over to the contact. So that contact inside of Sugar, when you convert a lead, that lead's going to become a contact at the account. If I wanted to add another account, excuse me, another contact to the record from here, that would be either, I can either link an existing contact that's already in the system, or I can create a new contact here without having to create a lead. I can create a new contact and assign them directly to the account. Scroll back over for just a moment. We'll take a look at the intelligence pane here. But again, here next to the business card view, billing address, shipping address, any information that's not pertinent when you first open an account, but that you want to dig into to avoid cluttering things up for your UI. In the interest of keeping things simple, you can move everything over to a new tab. And you can create as many tabs as you want. You can include any different types of information that you want. The customer journey that I alluded to earlier, though they can be, you can tie them to, excuse me, to any object inside of Sugar, and here's where you can create an account-specific journey as opposed to a lead-specific journey, which is what we were taking a look at earlier. Going back to the Salesforce side of things, and we'll take a look at an account inside of Salesforce. Very similar. First things first, at the top is your business card view, the phone number, billing address, and a website, account owner. All of the related records are going to appear below, like the subpanels inside of Sugar. Here you have in Salesforce your related records. There's no potential duplicates. Related contacts, since I just converted John from a lead to an account, he's going to appear as a contact here. Any associated opportunities, which is the one I created when converting him to a contact, is going to appear right here. And if I scroll down on that arrow, I can edit that opportunity further, or I can click on the opportunity itself to edit or add more detail to it. Any contracts, the cases or notes associated with the opportunity would be logged here. Any past activity inside of a record, similar to when we were looking at the lead record for John Mackey. Any activity you create can be recorded pretty quickly here. This is another call, click save, and just like when we were in John Mackey's lead record, you'll see that the call is quickly logged right there below. You can also create a new task from here, assign it to any user inside the system. You can relate it to, and if you wanted to associate this particular task to another account or a contact, you can also do that from here. Any new event, if there's any new meeting, start date, end date, the location, all going to be included here on the right side. And I can also send emails if you're configured for, whoops. Not seen that error record before. from the account record here, I can also view account hierarchy if there was one similar to when I was inside of Salesforce, alluding to member organizations. Here, additional details, phone numbers, industry, news, any news related to the account is going to appear here. News should appear, I know, here inside of SugarCRM, and I hate to switch back and forth, but I wanted to show you what that, when you click on inside of Sugar, I know it exists inside Salesforce yet, it's just not pulling that. One of the cool new features here is you can always, whenever you're clicking on an account, you can get any kind of information to you pretty quickly as it comes out. So it's always going to refresh, it's going to look for new news. You can click to it from the CRM. You can also map anything that you want. So if I wanted to map to Whole Foods from inside the CRM, I can do that. But let's go back to Salesforce for just a moment and take a look at the related accounts. So here, let's dig into the opportunity for just a moment. And then we'll take a look at an opportunity record inside of Salesforce. The opportunity is also going to have at different stages as you progress through an opportunity inside of Salesforce. Any quote that you add would be added here. You can create new quotes. You can add products and line items, associate files and notes to an opportunity pretty quickly inside of Salesforce, and it's also going to pull over all of your past activity from the lead and account records that are associated with this opportunity. Same thing, quickly going down to our recently created 100 widgets opportunity inside of Sugar. Since we just created this opportunity, there's no new calls yet, so you can always quickly log a call. Schedule, let's go ahead and save that. And I can either go right to the upcoming call, or I can just scroll below and it's going to appear here. Again, they're very similar inside of Sugar. You've got your Salesforce, you've got your customer journey, which can be mapped here, and you're going through the same processes that you would be that you've created for a customer journey inside of for this particular opportunity or for this particular kind of customer. Any meetings, tasks associated with this opportunity, notes, all the quotes would be down here as well. Same thing for the leads. The lead associated with this opportunity was John Mackey when we converted him, so he's going to stay here. And if I wanted to make him the primary contact for this particular opportunity, scroll down and he's already there. Guys, with that said, Jesse, I believe that we have hit everything. I think a little bit ahead of time, I was hoping to, looking for a 150 stop for a Q&A. Anything, any questions come in, anything that I can answer?
Nope, there was just a question about the copy of the presentation, so we'll get that out to everybody in a follow-up, as well as a link to view the recording. But other than that, there's nothing else.
Okay, great. Then that said, let me go back. I've got a couple more things that I wanted to make sure that we had. Let's go from current slide. So we're at the demo, addition pricing. Inside of both of them, we talked about costs a little bit earlier. The professional versions, you're looking at about 100% cost increase between Salesforce and Sugar, and more so the focus should be on enterprise most of the time. For new Sugar customers, they are going to be choosing the enterprise edition of the licenses, as they are for Salesforce as well. And there you're looking at a much larger price difference. And to give you a better example of what the total cost of ownership would be, we're looking at really basic examples here. The discrepancy between the two would really be extrapolated in a larger example where you've got a little bit more context and detail. But looking at just a few quick examples, example one, you've got 25 users of Sugar, just licensing and nothing else. You're looking at a very basic deployment here, and a difference of about $70,000–$80,000 between the two of them for very similar functionality and features out of the box. Example two, the discrepancy becomes a lot larger when you start to add things to a deployment. Here, you're looking at integrating QuickBooks, your CRM with your accounting system, which you should be doing. Here it's QuickBooks, and of course, if you're using a CRM, you should also be using a marketing automation tool. And here, using a generic example, you're looking at a difference between the two of them, about $400,000 for over the course of 3 years for just 150 users. And of course, as those numbers go up and the adding features, those numbers are going to expand pretty quickly. It looks like there were no questions, so we'll go ahead and we'll send out a recording, and I've got a list of everybody that was able to join today. I will be following up, and if you have any questions, please don't fail to reach out directly to me. My details here on the left-hand side, 818-280-4908. If you want to contact me directly, or you can click on that link there for the email, or david.hyman@bsg.com.